the flickering light of Asia, or the Assyrian nation and church. The prospect of a people can best be seen in the lights of its retrospect, entirely indifferent to the imperial grandeur of the bygone ages. We simply make mention of those capabilities which are essential for the promotion of civilization, and which in their free operation they contribute to the uplift of mankind at large. The successive ages of oppression and an existence of actual bondage accompanied with perpetual fear, to be sure, closed the passage of progress to the Assyrian people, and they inevitably ushered in a long period of deterioration and comparative illiteracy, of which we are most sensitively conscious. And yet, in the midst of Islam's perpetual fire, the ratios of such illiteracy among the Assyrians has always been kept many degrees lower than among their ruling masters. History shows that either during the regime of the Persians, or of the Tartars, or of the Caliphs, or of the Turks, the Assyrians became the eyes and the brains of the powers that ruled over them. Even at the present time, the sons of Assyria hold most responsible positions in the various departments of the governments of which they are subjects. The memories of Orpha and of Nisibin and of Ctesiphon and of Babylon have always lingered in the mind of every succeeding generation, while in this day of new opportunity, those memories have already given to the people a fresh inspiration and a united determination to rebuild that ruined structures of their old institutions and to resume the initiative they once had in enlightening the peoples and the races with whom they are destined to come in contact. The Assyrians are still the same people of whose heroism and achievements, when Gibbon writes, he does so with a trembling pen and with an admiration that becomes an inspiration even to a skeptical historian, thus providentially endowed with spiritual gifts and attainments. And as the faithful custodians of the earliest Christianity, the Assyrian people are destined to play once more the old apostolic role and become a blessing even to their former enemies. Educational preparation, unconscious of the events, the impending aspect of which was surely concealed from the knowledge of man. Guided nevertheless by a gracious providence, the Assyrians, as if in the possession of a prophetic vision, have for the last 25 or 30 years taken advantage of the opportunities presented to them by the educational institutions of both America and Europe, and have developed talents for an Assyrian national university which has long been in contemplation. The spirit of the great Assyrian educators is still alive, and the Assyrians throughout the world are prepared to establish their own national schools, the doors of which will be thrown open to every tribe and race that may be found living in their midst. The industrial possibilities in the line of industry, even though crushed by injustice and robbed by tyranny, the Assyrians have always excelled their persecuting enemies. The greatest part of the new Russian Caucasian Railway, which runs from Tiflis to the Persian frontier, was built by the Assyrian engineers in Assyrian skill. Wherever and whenever they have found themselves in the possession of equal rights, the Assyrians have become contractors of renown, as in Russia and in America. The foundation of a new and a most prosperous city in the United States was laid by the Assyrian hands and Assyrian contractors. Agriculture has always been a specialty of the Assyrian people, but they have specialized in the new development of scientific agriculture, and a movement is already in motion to introduce modern tools and modern methods for the awakening of the fertile soil of Assyria from its long-lingering slumber. Manufacture, whether it be silk or cotton or wool, the Assyrian mechanics and weavers are prepared to plant and to run Assyrian factories. The Assyrians may need foreign capital, but they certainly do not need foreign skill for the development of mineral resources. Commerce. In the line of commerce, the Assyrians made such strides as to arouse the jealousy of their enemies both in Turkey and in Persia. In the centers where the Assyrians are found, both import and export business has gradually been passing into their hands. Undoubtedly, their success has indirectly been responsible for a hatred that has now poured the vengeance of their persecutors upon them. Such are the capabilities of a people who ask for justice, and in the name and in the interest of justice, they ask to be created into a state under a mandatory power. In the choosing of such a power, the wishes of the Assyrians in America are naturally for the United States, while those of the Patriarch Marshamun are for Great Britain. The question of the mandatory power, However, we voluntarily submit to the judgment and the discretion of the Supreme Council.